I haven't seen really the motorsport, so that means the tire pressure you have to be pretty different. You cannot change in the during the race. So you either you will be like a high tire pressure, but you will lower through the race, but you will be adjust the conditions. So the first lap when it's cold tires, you want a little bit more higher pressure, and then you want a lower pressure when the tires and air getting hotter and already the pressure itself getting itself. And there is a soft tires. If what kind of it is. So the wet tires, the soft tires is very adaptable to different conditions. In qualifying you get very soft, and in the hard races, hot condition, in humid heat, you need more the tires of the hard compound. Then it's a symmetrical race. It's pretty simple. Alright. Then it's a mechanical, aerodynamical, and this is pretty simple. The more you have aerodynamical downforce at the wings at the level, more it also appears. So the motor can get some 2,000 and 3,000 kilo power, the downforce power to all the aerodynamical devices and wings, a pursuit, and the whole the body of the car. So if you want more power to get downforce, you will be also looking for the car really are produces this power. And what's the best possible way to produce the downforce is that keeping higher and bigger volume and the area of aerodynamics. And what kind of aerodynamics we did? We have two wings usually, the front and rear wings. In the rear wings we usually have different cars. And now I'm talking of the Formula open wheel cars, which are usually used in the Formula 1 and smaller Formula 2, Formula 3, Formula 3000, GP2 cars, IndyCar, IRL, and all the cars towards almost the go-karts. So, and this will mean that these cars all have a different variation between how this car really works. All the cars have a differentiation, so how the car really works. And you have to be very careful that you know exactly how to this car making themselves to work in the best possible way, because there are so many possibilities. And then there are of course the radiator side. What kind of the side beds you have, what kind of the radiator. There are different radiators through the year through the champions, the cars what you're driving, and in the usually you have a side box, the biggest the radiator to engine usually needs the air to just improve the engine getting booster, and also to getting a gulf there to ventilate it out the car to get in just as an exhaust and the radiator nuclear. Helping meaning more higher you have also it's more the track towards the car, and a smaller, so in the racing car it has to be understood in the long races when the engine will have a more stress and more longer the distance and the race, the time it is stress the component the engine. If you want a more reality you will be also less go to RPM, but this is in the chair setting. But also meaning that the more the radiator bigger size, the more air intake you have inside your car. Or the engine ways when you try taking inside. That's pretty simple. Yes, and the racing. There's also a lot of racing to cars at the wing and spread. So the very quick circle, like ovals, you have a very small wing in the float side. If it's just the cars, the tracks are just straight, you strip off the whole wings off, and it's very slow car track. There are all of different variants, something like Monte Carlo, Long Beach, and this kind of street which have a very, you need a lot, they having a big, the grid is the most important thing there, so the tires will be very slow, but it's also important to having the slowing down heavily, so you need also the track. So the downforce very heavily, and also the slow track which have a lot of over medium speed corners, and this kind of the corners you absolutely are the most intricate just driving. So let's take the Mexico City track here. We are driving to city. Then it stands the one of the other points going. It's a full cars, more full have more heavier cars, So it's gonna depend. If you're going to axle, you qualify a lap to try, you're getting a less fuel and then carrying the fuel. So the different cars have a different size of the fuel tank. And it depends on endurance race might have a very high effect. And it's one of the what is the fuel consumption? Consumption of the fuel is one of the main factor what is going to depend on how long you are needed to the one set of the car tracking. If you are going to example the one phase to drive in some 10 laps in 10 minutes with some qualifying section or some very small and very quick races you're going to drive it. It's going to also mean that you need that much of the depending on the consumption with very fast circuit it is higher usually because the more longer your car is the acceleration and more it needs power to the carrying on against the track, and that means the more power you need, more also your engine is consumption. And that's meaning a lot of races have to be banned, example, to refueling. Refueling is very important factor into longer races, making sure that you can drive the races in the less fuel and less weight, and that means it also the car is have a much quicker lap time, but you overall the strategically are much more. And of course, if the fuel tank are not that excessive and in the high consumption of fuel, you're anyway going to need it as last refueling in the some part, the point of the race. And then there are the gear. Transmission of the car is one of the important factor how to making the car. And what is the transmission here we see? The transmission in the cars, we have a different amount of gears. In the usually motorsport car will have in debated a lot. Some have a 2 gears in very small form, but in this kind of the big car and F1 car have a 6 or 7 gear plus a reverse. So they have a different values. They are usually measured how much of the sound is. So usually 30, 34 is the first and higher gear in the number. So getting that the highest number usually is the lowest. What is the ratio? So there are always some kind of ratio. You have a biggest number usually on the smallest gear, and higher gear you have a lowest total ratio number. It's always a calculated ratio number. So then you have an engine rev limit. How many RPM and rev ratio per minute you have the engine to make whole totally. And that will mean in the more higher you have it, more power the engine product and more powerful you're going to front station. It's a very pop. The car also have a different system like a differential power. A differential is one of the things in the car with the brake. Differential pump and differential power is easier of the cars to make it the real and light wheel are at the balance. So if you need a more power control, you add the more differential stiffer it is, but also you add more and power both sides, and it has balance depending on the track. If you have slow corners, perhaps in the front, if it's oversteering, you can balance to over or understeering. Under oversteering is always a problematic, but the ideal is always having ideal condition every single corner you are driving. That you never are going there, but you're always in the best possible way to get in the best out of your car. And this is usually the very big trouble of the racing cars, that you're always very active to develop the oversteering on the condition and the places you're never the most are looking for. So the differential pump, you get more power with them and differential power. Then there is a differential cost, how many percentage, 0 to 100. And the gear wings we have a 1 to 50 different to the wing level. Under all bars we have the LPS, how much we can underroll to execute the car does it. Underroll bars are not in the racing car depending on the track so important, it depends a lot. Underroll bar most purposes to make in a roll of the car, because the car are never supposed to roll over itself. And the car is usually just going straight forward on the idle line, and the rolling is a trouble when the car have an elevation or some cornering technically. So that meaning that depending of the side of the car, a front or a rear, you just making sure that the car doesn't roll itself. It's one of the answers to take the balance of the car. If the front have a more depending on the distance to the sensor and the tires, so it's a very much that's depending. So you have it very much easy now to understand into the most important set of the car, what is taking hybrid rating. So that means that there are different sizes and the system, and understanding how long the suspension weight, understanding getting the suspension working on the way you are looking for. But when it's just big as one